I am here as the Cabinet Secretary of Defense, accompanied by my colleague, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, the Acting Minister of Internal Security, to respond to a statement that has been made by the National Super Alliance. I will read the statement in extenso, and thereafter we'll take one or two questions. I read as follows. This is a statement from the Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Kenya. The ministry has noted with concern the allegations contained in a statement issued by the National Super Alliance on the 28th of July 2017. The statement alleges that there is a plan by the Jubilee administration and top military commanders to rig the elections by disenfranchising a section of Kenyans and also prohibiting the participation of NASA agents in polling stations within central Kenya. The ministry wishes to state as follows in response to the aforesaid allegations. A. The Kenya Defense Forces has no plans whatsoever, and I repeat, no plans whatsoever to rig the elections as alleged. We recognize that the Kenya Defense Forces has no role to play in the management and supervision of the general elections. This is the sole responsibility of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Secondly, the Kenya Defense Forces shall not disenfranchise any citizen who wishes to exercise his or her constitutional right to vote. The allegation that the Kenya Defense Forces intends to isolate Kibra and Mathari areas by disconnecting power and water is false, completely untrue, and ought to be treated as such. We urge the residents of Mathari and Kibera to ignore these allegations. Thirdly, in order to prepare its personnel to deliver on its constitutional mandate, training in the Kenya Defense Forces is ongoing in all establishments of the Kenya Defense Forces as a matter of routine. A matter of routine. Fourthly, the Constitution of Kenya, under Article 241, Sub-Article 3, A, B, and C, mandates the Kenya Defense Forces to protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of Kenya, and to assist and cooperate with other public authorities in situations of emergency and disaster, and report to the National Assembly, and restore peace in any area affected by unrest with the approval of the National Assembly. Section 33(1) of the Kenya Defense Forces Act 2012 authorizes the deployment of the Kenya Defense Forces in joint operations with the National Police Services or any other authority in situations of emergency or disaster. Fifthly, the people of Kenya expect the Kenya Defense Forces to deliver on this mandate. The Kenya Defense Forces will fulfill this expectation without fear, without intimidation, and without equivocation. And we will do so strictly in accordance with the provisions of the law. It is standard practice by defense forces world over to prepare contingency plans with respect to any foreseeable situation that may negatively prejudice national security. The Kenya Defense Forces is no exception. Finally, the Ministry of Defense views the public disclosure of the names of officers and their telephone contacts as reckless, absolutely reckless, because it unnecessarily risks the safety of these officers and their families. Furthermore, such disclosure may be exploited by hostile entities such as Al-Shabaab to the detriment of these officers and their families. There ends my statement. We will take questions. There are none? Thank you very much. I have no idea what letters NASA is referring to, because they have not shown them to me. They have not submitted them to me for my scrutiny and verification. But I want to say this, and to say this without fear of contradiction, that these allegations that have been made by NASA are reckless. They are divisive. They are dangerous. They are intended to create fear and despondency within the citizenry of this country and within the Kenya Defense Forces. They are unwarranted. They are scurrilous. And we reject them in every particular. Kenyans are entitled to exercise their constitutional right to choose candidates of their choice without fear, without apprehension. This is a right that we all must stand up for. And it is a right that the Kenya Defense Forces and all security forces are mandated to protect under the Constitution. We will discharge our constitutional mandate properly, lawfully, and in the best interests of the people of this republic. And my message to the Kenya Defense Forces today: you are respected, you are valued by the people of Kenya. Stand up and discharge your constitutional mandate without fear or intimidation. I thank you.
Sorry. Mm-hmm.
As I've said, the Constitution sets out the mandate of the Kenya Defense Forces. It is the duty of every soldier to discharge that mandate. And that mandate does not include rigging the elections. We do not intend to rig the elections. We do not intend to do anything unlawful. And we reject any allegations of that nature. That's it.
All right, last one, before I add something, maybe let me just say this before you ask your question. I just want to emphasize what I have done several times before in a number of public activities. The government does not conduct elections. We do not conduct elections. Elections are conducted by the IEBC according to the law. Our responsibility in the security sector is to facilitate and support the IEBC to deliver on its mandate. And IEBC has pronounced itself several times on a number of issues related to how they intend to conduct the elections, what they expect from us, and what we will do in that respect. Everything we are doing, we will do according to the guidance of IEBC and according to the law. And we want to ask the people of Kenya, because this is a fantastic country and we are so grateful that we are blessed with such a great nation. Let us go about our businesses peacefully and calmly. There have even been claims before that people are leaving certain parts of the country, like Kisumu here. I have just had a meeting with the security committee of the county and the region. The regional commissioner is here. The entire security committee in the county, led by the county commissioner Kisumu, is here. No one is leaving anywhere. There's nothing of that kind. We have an impartial, professional, competent, respected security sector. Our interest is to do what the law allows us to do or the law mandates us to do. And what my colleague has said in respect of the Kenya Defense Forces, it is unfortunate that our country, 5 decades after independence, we would be here, 2 ministers, saying something that should be a straightforward issue of common sense. Honestly, we should be spending time on a matter of common sense with the kind of respect we have for our defense forces. Now they are being dragged into irrelevant arguments and into politics where they ought not to go to. We want to ask the people of Kenya, we are 10 days away from voting day. Let us remain calm. Let's go about our activities. The country is secure and safe. We will all play our role effectively. And please, ignore some of these things so that we can just be peaceful. Ignore some of these things. There are no basis. Let's just carry on with the business that we must carry on with. Yes, you had a question. Mm-hmm.
You are the CS for defense. You said that you have not seen the document that NASA read out yesterday. But yesterday there was a statement by the KDF spokesperson saying that the document was authentic, but then the explanations in regards to the content were fake.
Like I said, I have not seen the document that NASA is referring to. That is all I have to say about it. I think the critical issue here is about the discharge of our constitutional mandate. That's the bottom line here. And it is every soldier's duty to discharge their constitutional mandate. And you do so lawfully. You do so respecting the people of the country. You do so to protect our democracy and the rule of law. That's what soldiers do. And that's what the Kenya Defense Forces is there to do. We're not there to do unlawful things, to rig elections, and we do not want to be dragged into the putrid miasma of political engagement. We want to be apolitical and professional, the way the Kenya Defense Forces has always been. I'm not clashing with any statement. I'm telling you what I know. That's it. That's
Last one.
I think from your statement, you are kind of admitting that to some extent KDF may be operation during that time. So, but the Constitution again is very clear.
I'm not saying anything like that. All I'm saying is that we are not rigging the elections. We have no plans to rig the elections, and that we will discharge our mandate to the betterment of our country in accordance with the Constitution and the rule of law. And I have nothing further to add on that. I think
All
we
right,
can bring this.
That's it. Last one from you.
Yes, a question to Dr. Matiang'i. Is it true that senior security leaders assigned to the presidential candidates are demanding 6,500 as allowance that has made some of the candidates unable to foot the bids?
Well, first of all, that is part of that rumor. I wish I wasn't in public service so that I describe it in the adjectives I would like to use. The National Police Service manages all the security personnel who are seconded or assigned to the presidential candidates according to the law. And while they are assigned to the presidential candidates, they are managed by the National Police Service. They do not cease to be employees of the National Police Service so that they are managed or paid allowances or taken care of by the presidential candidates. They are employees of the National Police Service. There's a code of conduct, there's a regulation, there's a framework within which they are supposed to be working. That is part of that rumor business. You know, our politics has become so negative, and it's become a factory of negative rumors across the country. There is nothing of that kind. And they are treated equally. They assign the chain of command and management of the security sector is very organized. We are seeing very interesting things where our security system is being subjected to gossip and rumor mongering, which is not acceptable. Because these are very organized forces. These are very organized forces. They operate within a very organized framework with a clearly defined and organized chain of command. They are impartial. They are focused on what they're supposed to be doing. Now, you are telling us things from the streets about the internal management of the National Police Service, which is not supposed to be the case. There's nothing of that kind, and I don't know anything about it. And it will not be existent anyway, because all these men you see here, and they are very disciplined. That's why we describe them as disciplined forces. When they are assigned to various presidential candidates, they do not cease to be employees of the National Police Service so that they operate in their own way and demand allowances from anybody, anywhere. All those are those kinds of allegations that are being made around, which are totally irrelevant and intended to cause unnecessary excitement around. Thank you.
Yes, you have said that the security department is apolitical. Yesterday you were confronted with the president in America, and you were telling the prison of a NASA presidential candidate criticizing you and at the same time going to ask to vote for your people. Does that show?
That is part of your rumor mongering and gossip. I never said anything yesterday about politicians, and I don't even want to pronounce any political party by name because I've never done that. Thank you.